Show. Welcome, everybody, to the KQ Show, Episode 4, Instructional Guide for Your Listening Pleasure. For those new to the show, hi, I'm Kyle. I'm just like everyone else. I wake up, do sleight of hand magic for the elderly, and start my day. As a young lad, I learned I had what my parents would call the gift of gab. I love conversations, and I love learning from people. Most importantly, I love to have fun. I surround myself with positive and creative people that have helped structure who I am today. And now I want to tell their stories. I'll be chatting with business owners, athletes, musicians, artists, and a live gremlin. That's episode 10, Chatting with My Ex. Today's episode brings us talking with Mann Time Entertainment. I sit down with John Mann, owner of a successful YouTube channel. We nerd out over Marvel vs. DC, Star Wars, collecting cards, and most of all, snacks. We discuss his near-death experience with COVID, and then finally, how he's handled life after selling all of his GameStop stock 1 month before it went from $12 to $400 in the biggest short squeeze in stock market history. We had a blast, so please, enjoy the episode. KQ Show. Welcome, everyone, to the KQ Show, Episode 4. Today's episode is brought to you by Mann Time Entertainment. You know, in today's society, everyone's bored, and it's hard to come up with any fun things to do. And if you're like me, you're probably tired of being judged for recommending things like Hide the Snake, Undie Swap, and Tool Shed Tickles. If so, then hop on YouTube and check out John Mann and Man Time Entertainment. His channel provides hours of fun and enjoyment that you just can't get from being locked in Grandpa's tool shed. Again, that's John Mann and Man Time Entertainment on YouTube. Our guest today has spent 20 years in retail, started at Kroger, then GameStop, now Sprint and or T-Mobile, has been running his YouTube channel, Man Time Entertainment, for 2 years. He's a COVID survivor and one of the best cartoon voice actors in the biz, Mr. John Mann.
All right, I'm going to do a impression here.
Oh, hang on. Oh, shit. You know what? Your mic's kind of spiking. Yeah, I can cut all this out. Yeah, it's done this before.
Okay.
Can you do like a high pitch thing?
Ah! Ah!
Do a couple more. Sorry.
Ah!
And
Ah!
April Fools. Your mic's working fine.
Damn it. Oh my gosh, you got me.
No, so so I'm glad to have you on the show. We talked a little bit. It's like your channel. You know, you do a lot of food stuff with channel on it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge food fan, so I remember we talked about having snack time Sundays. We're gonna do something with snacks.
Yeah.
So I have a great idea for us to get this thing kicked off. We'd like to talk about a new segment that we have. It's called Ranch Fact of the Day. Now, John, while ranch dressing was developed in the 1950s, it didn't actually become a household name until decades later when Cool Ranch Doritos hit the market.
Wow.
Do you understand Cool Ranch Doritos came out 1986, 3 years after ranch seasoning was a dry packet? But Cool Ranch Doritos came out in 1986, and it sparked the ranch movement.
Man, Cool Ranch Doritos, definitely the best.
Snack time questions.
Okay.
Now, these are serious questions in the snack community.
Okay.
First question. Is cereal soup? Why or why not?
Cereal is definitely a soup. So, I mean, a soup is qualified as a liquid-based, food that you're eating with a spoon that has various things in it. So cereal would 100% qualify as a soup.
Is melted ice cream soup?
Melted ice cream is, all right. Ice cream is one of those things, okay, where it's always a soup. All right? You're melting it in your mouth.
Okay.
It would be like eating soup ice cubes. You're still calling it soup, right?
I'd call it soup cubes.
Soup cubes.
And make a cool noise, but I got you.
Hey, maybe that's our $1 million idea.
Soup cubes. I could make some cool jingles with soup cubes.
Now available in Campbell's.
Are you tired of regular cubes? Try soup cubes. Okay, so let me ask this then. Is, because obviously, this is a big debate here as well. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
I think a hot dog's a taco.
A taco?
Yeah. So you've got your curved bread product in your bun.
Okay.
All right. And then you have your meat, and then you put toppings on top of that. That's a taco.
Did a sandwich come first before a taco, though?
You know, I think a sandwich probably existed before a taco. I believe so.
Well, then you can't just switch. You can't go, you know what? Sandwiches, we're done. We're going to call it a taco.
Yeah, but I mean, we both grew up not wealthy. You know, with one piece of bread sandwiches. I'm sure you remember those days.
Those were we called those hot dogs.
Those were tacos.
Is taco a sandwich?
That's
I mean,
the
if the sandwich came first,
then
a taco would just be a fried sandwich.
Yeah, you could say that.
What's a burrito?
A burrito is a whole other class.
Okay, so that's a difference. So anything that's wrapped, you're talking about anything that's wrapped.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, if it's wrapped, it's a burrito. It doesn't matter whether it's got grilled chicken and feta cheese or it's got taco meat and beans, and I'm going to take a shit for 2 hours later.
It is a whole different type of thing. I got to say, a hot dog, I would call a hot dog a sandwich for only one reason. You can have a hot dog without a hot dog bun.
True.
You're going to take that piece of white bread that you had, you fold it and you're still eating a hot dog. Of course, and also if you fold it in half, you're a weirdo. You go diagonal. Okay, that's how you keep the. Yeah. I don't know. I got to go sandwich though, because you know, if you say a hot dog.
Now, have you ever been to Five Guys and had a hot dog?
I got to tell you, I've never had a hot dog from Five Guys.
You know, when Five Guys first came to the area and I went in and saw their menu, you know, burgers, fries, shakes, drinks, and hot dogs. And I was like, where's the Five Guys shirt that says, I got a wiener from Five Guys?
Where's the shirt that says, I had Five Guys all night and all I got was this free t-shirt?
You know what? There's our $1 million idea.
Yeah, I mean,
fuck the soup cubes.
There's so many funny things.
Yeah.
Like I watched you interview this girl. Like this lady was talking to somebody from Europe. It was like they were interviewing like an Avengers, one of the Marvel.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I had five. What'd she say? I had Five Guys and I was exhausted, or what she said.
So they're like, where? If you could teleport one place, where would you go? And she's like, Five Guys, and they're like, what? At the same time?
Oh man, I went on a long tangent because we're talking. Because today I want to definitely talk about. I love having like Marvel, DC, because you know way more about Marvel and DC stuff. I remember when the pandemic hit, and you were grilling me on what an alpha mutant was, and I didn't know any of that stuff. Remember?
Like the Omega level.
No, I was like, I didn't know any of that stuff. Because I'm pretty kind of novice when it comes to this.
But, a lot of it's listening to YouTube in the background.
Oh yeah, I went on such a long tangent of just looking up all this. Like Marvel and Star Wars stuff. Then I started just doing my own stuff. I was like, man, you know what? I really started to.
You did your own research?
I always do. Yep.
Did you do it on Facebook?
Nope. I use Lycos.
Oh, I always use Ask Jeeves.
Dude, first off, I used to use Ask Jeeves all the time. I only switched to Lycos because Anna Kournikovas' hot ass was the sponsor. Remember Lycos, the little black dog, and like Anna Kournikova shows up to your door, and you're like, yeah, I'll use your browser. I was like, yeah, whatever she needs.
Anna Kournikova, gosh, that's a celebrity that I haven't heard that name in how long? Years.
Since I took the posters down.
Yeah, last week.
Her and Kathy Ireland. Ooh, fun question. Who was your first chick crush, like celebrity wise?
Oh, obviously it was the pink Power Ranger, Amy Jo Johnson.
Yeah.
I think I was 8, maybe 9 when the original Power Rangers came out. Maybe 10. I can't remember if it was 95 or 96.
You were probably 9 because I was 12 coming home 6th grade, and I'd go right home to watch the episodes.
Oh,
but
yeah.
yes.
I remember I had the Power Rangers game on Sega CD.
Yes.
And it was like a full motion video game of like the first episode of the show. And you had to like press the button at the right time to win the fight with the Megazord and whoever Goldar, the big golden dude.
Power Rangers.
Yes.
Dude, I used to call him Macho Man. He always sounded like Macho Man.
Did.
Like,
He did.
Like, what are you doing up there? Like the Spider-Man Macho Man. Yeah. Power Rangers. I was like, that has to be Macho Man.
It blows my mind when you think of that show. That show, everything that was recorded with their suits on, is a show filmed in Japan that wasn't filmed here in the U.S. Only the scenes with the American actors was actually filmed here in the U.S. So those people were never in like the Ranger costumes unless they had their helmet off.
Yeah.
If they had their helmet off, they were in the Ranger costume. But the fight scenes was really never them. That when I found that out, like as an adult, I was like, my whole life is a lie.
So you thought Amy Jo Johnson was just doing like cartwheel double kicks?
Look, man, I had the Jason David Frank like Green Ranger karate tape growing up. You remember that thing?
Oh, yeah, dude. Wasn't he in Taekwondo or was he in
it's something.
one of the mixed martial arts? Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, do you want to learn how to be a Power Ranger? Here's the course. And then you like learn like the basics of karate. I never did it. I was just like, this is so cool. I have this.
Well, dude, he had special powers because he could play that flute through his closed mask.
Yeah.
Which I always thought was kind of strange.
He must have had a special mask on there, you know, like.
So what was your favorite show growing up? Saturday morning cartoon.
Okay, so Saturday morning cartoons. Growing up, I loved the original Spider-Man animated series.
Oh, for sure.
The X-Men animated series and the Batman animated series. Those three, like, original cartoon, like, animated series are, I think, the epitome of comic book animation. And nothing since then has ever hit that level.
I think it's because it was the first time like you got to see the comics that you'd been collecting for so long. I was a huge Wolverine fan, Punisher and Wolverine, and when they were, which every cartoon X-Men, they were always fighting the Sentinels every episode. Didn't matter what episode they were, but like, oh no, Sentinels. Then Jubilee would hit her little sparklers. It'd always bounce off them. She kept trying though.
Yeah,
she kept trying. She hit him a couple Roman candles for her fingers.
Jubilee was like the most worthless superhero.
I remember his Wolverine and her were like fighting, and she's like skidoo-doo-doo-doo-doo, making the little fireworks sounds. And Wolverine's like, if you don't got the way, just throw me.
Yeah, right.
He's like,
Colossus, come here.
He's like, please, what is she doing? It's not the 4th of July.
I tell you what. So I remember watching the first episode of the X-Men animated series, and I can't remember the guy's name. But Morph was his name. So how they like killed him off in the first episode, or maybe the second episode was like a 2-parter or something. They killed him off in that. And I was just like, that character's so cool. Like he seems like he can morph into whoever he wants. And like, but they killed him. Like they killed one of the coolest characters in the first episode. And then they brought him back like 4 seasons later. And I was like, what? He wasn't dead. My child brain could not comprehend comic books and how if you don't see the death, like they're not actually dead. I was like, he's back from the dead. It just blew my mind.
Man, could you imagine being a kid now, like a comic book? You don't really, I don't even know if comics are a big thing anymore or not. I don't know. I know like collector comic cards are.
Yeah.
But like if you had to like now, like being a kid, not even watch the comics, but you're just watching like your Avengers, like when anybody dies, like, nah, we're good. There's multiverses.
Yeah, there's multiverses.
So I did watch the new Spider-Man. I did. I thought it was clever. I thought it was good. I liked it. I paid for it full price on Amazon. Full price. I always do. I like to buy products full price.
No piracy.
You know, I'm not real big into
support small businesses. Yeah.
Always. I found a very small company, Amazon, that had it on sale. But no, I liked it. The multiverse makes it. It just opens up so many. Every character that has ever died now is able to come back and do whatever.
Yeah. You know, and there's obviously the Sony Disney thing of like Sony owns the Spider-Man properties and, you know, a couple characters tied to him, and Marvel owns like everything else. Now it's really only 2 companies own all these franchises, but yet Sony only kind of plays fair with Spider-Man, like being in the MCU. I haven't seen Morbius yet. I've not heard a single good thing about Morbius. I'll go watch it.
When did that come out?
Yesterday.
Okay. It's tough for me to think of Jared Leto really going into something and
yeah,
he's a real, but he is honestly. I mean, he did he's a phenomenal actor. I mean, everything he's been in. So he's more of a.
I'm trying to think what else has he been in.
So Dallas Buyers Club. I think he won an Oscar
never saw
for
that.
Oh my God, it was a great movie.
See, maybe I need to watch Dallas Buyers Club.
He goes from I don't even want to explain the story, but all I tell you is he is not McConaughey. When you look at him, you go.
The only thing I know, doesn't he get like AIDS or something?
It's the old story of like basically when AIDS came around. The Dallas Buyers Club was like a group that you could go get medicine for AIDS or something similar like that.
Okay.
But it was that's what the Buyers Club meant. But dude, his acting and Leto's acting, but it was I was surprised, definitely surprised.
I just remember too because I tried to wash it from my brain. The original Suicide Squad. Jared Leto was the Joker. I forgot about that. Yeah.
And so at the end of Suicide Squad 2 or the Emancipation of Harley Quinn, that scene, maybe it was at the end of Suicide Squad 2 where like they're in the future, or maybe it was the end of a Batman. it sees them like Batman sitting next to they're on like on the
yeah. It was in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
That's what it was.
Yes, you're
that
right.
That scene, if they use that, like the cinematography in that scene blew me away.
We live in a society.
Yeah, it was. I was like, dude, if I'd watch a whole movie like that, whatever they did, it was just really cool. It was like this.
And the sad thing, we're never going to explore that. With the amount of stuff going through comic movies right now, and especially DC.
Yeah.
Like, DC's not having a good time. Aquaman, everybody's throwing fit about Amber Heard.
I was throwing a fit about the quality of the movie and why it needed to be a movie.
See, I liked the first one.
Dude,
I did like
know.
the first one.
There was too much. Cut the nonsense out. Every time I saw him, he was fighting like the same. It was like an ongoing battle. But it never got anywhere. I can't explain it with DC. They do something with their movies where they tap into the character. Like, if I wouldn't have seen Zack Snyder's version, I hated Justice League. Justice League was a pile of garbage.
Justice League was not good.
It was.
I won't give it any credit. It wasn't a great movie.
Cyborg and the Flash made that movie. Like, that movie, the ending wouldn't exist except for Superman when he took that, whoop. Yeah. Best scene. That gave me the goosebumps.
And he just kind of looks at him like, huh?
He's like not impressed. That scene, and I don't think that was in the.
So they had a part of it, not the whole scene.
Well,
they had
Cyborg was like, like he was doing all that. Like, he was responsible for that.
I don't remember Cyborg doing in the original cut.
They cut all of him out.
Yeah, he wasn't in that. I don't think.
Notice,
like in the scene
when they redid that movie, because I'm not. The old director, whatever, he was a little sexist, racist is the word.
Yeah.
And you look at the original movie, it's all just tits, ass, and they cut out every ethnic character, which he was the biggest part of that. Without his computer brain, nothing would have happened.
Yeah, yep.
Because I like this debate. So now you got top 5 Marvel versus top 5 DC. Who do you got?
Oh, God, 5 from each?
Yeah.
Oh, and just like favorites, not necessarily.
No, they got a battle.
Powerful.
I would say, we'll get to favorites, but I would say if you're battling top 5 versus 5, like Avengers versus DC, you have to win. 5 people.
DC by far would win in a showdown of like
but you
power.
Think who could be Superman?
On the Marvel side, I honestly can't think of anyone that could beat Superman.
So you don't think there's one,
unless we're talking like.
No, I'm saying they can use their powers. You don't think there's one strong witch?
Oh, I mean, there's definitely people that can just erase your existence. That's part of Scarlet Witch's powers, is she could erase your existence.
Yeah, it is unfair because I can't think of anybody. Again, I don't know much about DC. I can't think of anybody that can take out. I'm not talking about Hawkeye and I'm talking about not even Iron. I wouldn't even throw Iron Man in the top 5 because unfortunately he can.
I mean, Iron Man's the Batman of the Marvel universe,
Yeah, but I wouldn't throw Batman in top 5.
He doesn't have powers; he has money.
Right, but I don't need money if it's a big battle. I mean, unfortunately, Iron Man.
Now, the cool thing with Iron Man, and it doesn't really show this in the movies, Iron Man has a suit to do anything. If you need to, explore the depths of the ocean, Iron Man has a suit that's waterproof, can go under the water. If he wants to go to space, he's got suits that can do that. They show really in the movies, the only Iron Man suit that's special that they show is the nano suit, where, the nanobites crawl over and form the Iron Man suit, and the Hulkbuster suit. Those are really the only 2 you see. So Iron Man, like I said, if you're going to have 2 people fight from a universe, Iron Man, Batman are the 2 that you have because they're the same kind of thing. Batman also on that side, he has a suit that can fight Superman. He's got a suit that can fight Apocalypse.
Iron Man would murder Batman 99.9 times out of 10.
That always becomes the case. And then people say, yeah, but give Batman prep time.
He could. So you're talking about. So I'm just saying, if you were to talk about IQ based 2 people, the difference is Batman has he can kind of his technology is nowhere near what Iron Man's is.
In the movies they don't show it, but
even in Batman's thing, you can't. I understand his suits, but the difference is maybe Batman did start. Did he make any type of flying suit that's anywhere near anything that Iron Man has?
Absolutely.
So you're telling me it's comparable to Iron Man suits?
Yeah, it's literally like a giant metal suit that Batman gets in and has rockets on the boots.
I don't know, man. I feel like that's so. I feel like Iron Man's been doing it for so long, but
I mean, when you look at the 2, if you think of something that's in Marvel, DC has an equivalent.
Right. Now, is it? I didn't mean to interrupt, but it's while I'm thinking about it. Is it? Who did it first?
Oh God, probably Marvel on something like that. Don't ask me questions about 60 Marvel comics. That's my brother. He knows all that.
Dude, the market for old comics is huge. Now NFTs.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, listeners, VEVE. It's only to get collectibles, which is it's Marvel, DC, it's every collectible. Disney. They had the first original drops of Disney. And so every day around 11, you got to get in there and be the first to buy now, which I've gotten one out of probably 30 that I've tried.
Yeah.
I have the first appearance of all the Avengers characters except like your Thor, your Iron Man, and Hulk and Captain America, because those are really, really old comics. But it's an NFT version, but it's cool when you start to see how many people really are into a digital-based version. But yeah, it's a cool app if you ever get a chance. It's just fun.
Now, is it the full comic, or is it just like the cover?
No, it's a full comic. Yeah, what happens is you basically, it's $7. So for the comic, it's a common. That's you're going to get a lot of those. Then you have uncommon, a little less odds. Then you have rare, and then like secret rare, and then sometimes ultra rare. You get a chance to get one of these 6, but the odds are 1 in 30,000 to get any of those other ones. So you always want to do it because worst case scenario you get an NFT of the original first appearance. Like I got first appearance of Scarlet Witch the other day. I paid $7. I didn't get anything else, but some of those are bananas. Like they're the first company that launched the original Disney. Like they brought like the Disney statue of like Walt Disney holding Mickey's hand, and it's like $23,000. Some kid got on there in the morning and goes, oh, Dad, I'm gonna spend $7 today. Hit a button, and he got the super deluxe rare. It's bananas.
And then the dad was mad. He thought he bought like Fortnite coins or something.
Yeah, he returned it. I caught it. So thinking about comics and that, did you collect comics when you were a kid? I think you said you did, right?
So
or was it more books?
I didn't really collect them. I like to read them. My brother collected them more than I did by a lot, and I would like sneak into his room and steal them to read them because he had so many comics growing up. So yeah, I didn't really collect them. And looking back, I probably should have. Like some of those things, you never think at that age that it's going to be worth something. Just like I'm sure there's something now that is like an everyday item to us that in 20 years is going to be worth an astronomical amount for some reason. Like,
yeah. And you don't know at the time, especially if you're a kid. You're just tossing Don Russ cards around and throwing the original Wolverine one.
My mom went out and bought, like, when I was growing up, she bought something, I think it was like the Topps baseball card set. And she's like, hey, I bought these 10 boxes of this. They were on sale for $5 a pop, And I don't know where those baseball cards are now, but I'm sure there was probably something. I remember I had there was like 2 or 3 Mark McGwire rookie cards out of it back then. And I used to go to the Sears, and they had a card shop inside the Sears. Mm-hmm. And we'd go in, and my stepdad was big into like the NASCAR cards.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, hey, I bought these 5-packs. And then he'd want to open them in the store to see what he got in them.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, this one's a rubber one where it's got like a piece of a tire that was used in a race.
Oh, yeah.
And I would just be like, hey, can I go to the game spot and look at the video games? And then I'd buy like a pack of Pokemon cards, or I'd buy 1 or 2 packs of baseball cards. And but that stuff, who knows where it is now. And I'm sure some of it's worth money. I used to have like 2 binders full of Pokemon cards with from the first run that is probably worth a ton of money now. And
find them in a basement somewhere.
Yeah, it's somewhere. I have no idea.
That's what I did during the...
It's probably up in my my mom's attic somewhere.
Yeah, you should definitely, because those things are such a big collection. So
what else? My retirement.
Yeah, man. The biggest thing is you got to find them.
I never had a Charizard though. I never got one of those.
They got to be in like the greatest quality. Because I did. I tell you when I first left T-Mobile, my goal was to do all of the hobbies you always liked.
Yeah.
So I started collecting cards. Got back into it. Went to my dad's basement. Man, I spent about 4 days. Not like 24 hours every day, but I spent a good 4 days going through. They're right there. So there's boxes. So the box that says base on it. That's 1, 2, 3. Those boxes fit 3,000 cards. So that's 9,000 cards that I went through. And you have to, and it's cards are so crazy. You have to look at each front and back, front and back.
You're looking
And
for creases,
you're looking,
corners peeling up.
dude. Well, you got to look. When you every player, you got to go. Okay, flip it over. Was this a rookie? Then nowadays cards are even harder. You got to look at. You got to look in the light. Oh, this is a refractor, red, diamond cut, foils, signature, series, auto, flip flop.
We didn't have the most we got with cards back in like the 90s was like you would get a card that had a piece of their jersey on it.
We were raised in a Topps and Donruss family. We weren't in the upper deck and Bowman.
Okay.
So I don't know if you ever I didn't even know Bowman was around back when we were around. Because that was a level of, because I got $5 a week for allowance, dude. I could get 10 packs of Donruss, or if I stole an extra $5, I could buy one of Bowman. But like all these rookies I have, everybody's like, man, if you had the Bowman of that, I go, that would have never happened. I was like, man, I found like 2 packs of like these Fleer Ultra Silver. Like I still kept them in the weird thing. Which I had a.
Which of those card companies still exist?
Dude, so Panini bought them all.
Who?
Panini. It's crazy.
What is Panini?
Dude, I just got back into cards, right? And I'll tell you right now, being a novice is so fucking hard. All the cards we collected, guess what all those mean? Those Topps, Donruss, all those. They call it the dead age because they bulk mass produced all these cards, right? So like, and I was talking to my buddy who he stumbled upon finding out I was getting back into cards, and he's like, dude, check it out. It has like a table, has like the gloves. He's got these old cards. He's talking about how they all have to be rated, and I was like, damn, I am definitely unprepared for this next journey, but I love cards. The best thing is when you open them, man, and the cards nowadays are just sexy as shit. Like, but they're expensive.
Yeah.
The card, it's weird that the card market changed so much. Like, there's people, like, paying vendors to tell them when they drop cards off. Because the card packs, like, people are making more money selling the packs of cards online, third party.
Yeah, the unopened ones, I saw that. Because it's like, you don't know what you're going to get in it, so it's...
Dude, and people are... And I watched this cat online go through it. He opened up these Pokemon cards, right? He had 4 packs of Pokemon cards. He goes, hey, I'm going to throw these on my electric scale. First thing you do is you grab the pack, you pinch, and you feel. If the cards easily slide back and forth, there's no embossed card or no thicker card. And then he weighed it. He called it, he little finger blasted the card pack for a couple seconds, and then he popped it on the scale. He's like, all right, that one is so-and-so. He goes, that one's going to have a white ice something. Then he took another one. He's like, regular pack, put it aside. Regular pack, put it aside. Then he put another. He goes, ooh, this one has a black ice. I'm making these terms up because it was Pokemon and I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, and then he opened them and he straight up locked it in. He was like, if you buy a pack of cards loose, not in a box.
Yeah.
Because now they put them in like a box and there's 5 packs in a box.
For a while, TikTok. Oh my God, TikTok. And so I'm like, all right, well, I've reached the end of Reddit. There's only so many not safe for work subreddits you can subscribe to. All right, let's take a look at TikTok.
There's only so many Asian boobs. Not that that's a category I follow or condone.
Never seen it. But
I'll send you the link.
But it's nice. So on TikTok, there was a period of time where I would scroll through and, you get those live videos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There was a period of time where like every 4 videos was a live video of someone opening Pokemon cards. And I'd be like, why am I seeing all these?
Did you watch them though?
I would.
Yes.
And I'd be like, well, I know nothing about any of these now, but hey, what's he going to get in this pack?
Exactly. You still watch.
And then there'd be the guy who'd be like, hey, I have this one special pack. You guys can vote by donating this or that. And we'll either cut this pack in half or we won't. And I'd be like, well, I'm not donating, but let me stick around and see if he has to cut this pack in half.
Let's see who does donate.
And I guarantee that it's probably something like that where he knows exactly what's in that because he waited or whatever. Man, I remember that when that period of time when the live videos, you would have like the guy with the watermelon putting the rubber bands, and it was just like a recorded loop. And you'd be like, there's like 17 channels as you're scrolling through that all have the same video playing, but it's like a 45-minute loop that never gets anywhere. And then it just repeats at the end. The following's crazy.
It's so weird because now you have to do rated. Everything has to be rated. I'm curious to see if which it sounds like it is, the comic book market is still the same. My buddy, he
So
told me
it is a lot, yeah. But
know.
now it's hard to determine, like, are these characters going to be popular in 30 years? Is it worth paying $200 to have this comic book rated? Is it going to be worth that in the future?
Damn.
But the comic book market's changing a lot.
Because I don't know anything about rating comic books.
Oh,
again, I have a
it's
bunch.
just like rating cards.
So basically,
Yeah.
like you could have the greatest comic book in your basement, but if you had humidity and all the bullshit,
Yeah. Oh,
it's going to
absolutely.
be garbage.
Yeah, you got one little corner that's dog-eared, and that comic goes from being, a 9.5 to a 6.2.
So basically, if you were a kid and you read through the comic, it's not going to be a 10.
Yeah, if when you bought it, it was not already plastic wrapped with a hardback cover, and then you immediately transferred it into not just a polyurethane, wrapper, you had to put it in a hard plastic. Like, absolutely, that comic wasn't worth anything the minute you walked out of that store.
That's crazy. So, what I did when I was younger, I put all my cards, or not my cards, my comics after I would like aggressively read them. Being me,
Yeah.
I also like to draw them. I was a big Punisher fan.
Yeah.
I liked that he just had a bunch of guns and just anger. You know what I mean? It's kind of what I liked about Batman, but Batman was he had some money. But like this dude was just like, all right, man, hey, I got these guns and I got like a whole dead family. So I'm
Yep.
going to go just murk these cats.
Yep.
My favorite comic, which they do in the movie, the first Punisher, not the rated R one, but was the thing where he has him hanging right in this warehouse. He goes up
Oh,
to him,
yeah.
lights the blowtorch, right? And he
then
goes
the
up to his
popsicle.
back and he puts the popsicle. That was my favorite comic because I was like, oh man, as a kid, I'm like, damn, Punisher could rip this guy's eyeball out, but he's fucking with him. And it was
I think that's a great thing about the movies is they don't try to follow the comics directly. You really can't. There's
Right.
just stuff that isn't going to look good on a screen. It's not going to tell a good story. But they try to do fan servicey stuff like that where you're like, oh, I remember the book. I had this book. That definitely happens, and it's really cool.
No, so I do want to kind of roll that into which you brought up COVID, which I want to come back to. Now let's fucking talk about COVID now.
Which part?
I brought up COVID survivor because man, you were like I know a lot of people got COVID. I'm not saying anybody's cases were worse than yours.
Yeah. Oh, there's many people had
Yes.
way worse cases than
Yeah,
mine.
because some people aren't alive anymore.
Yeah.
But the surprise fact, walk me through like when you told me like whatever, like you got kind of a little lucky with your situation, didn't you?
Yeah, so I mean, my whole thing was, I was working at the mall at the time, and none of us at that point in time were being enforced on wearing our mask in the back of the store, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I feel fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with me. I had a little bit of a sore throat, but that wasn't uncommon for me.
Right.
Like, just because I was a mouth breather,
You also had a bunch of sinus and allergy stuff.
Exactly.
So yeah, don't
So-
downplay it. You had a lot of stuff going on. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was normal for me.
Right.
So I didn't think anything of it.
I mean, you went through 100 Kleenex every day.
Every day.
The twirly, you spin it, put it in there, and
Yeah.
you pull it out.
The nose tampons.
Yeah, exactly. We know.
So, I take the test, and they said, hey, we'll have your results later in the day. If you don't hear anything, it's good news. Well, I never heard anything. I was off on Saturday, never heard anything Saturday. Friday night, I got, what was it for dinner? I got Panda Express for dinner, and I thought it tasted terrible. Like,
Was that also when you dropped off that shirt for me that you got?
No. I dropped that shirt off Saturday. It was the
So you
day
were full
before
on
I
COVID.
tested positive.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
So no, and that's funny too. So that Panda Express just tasted
This
awful.
Panda Express on what day?
On Friday.
Okay, I
So
got you.
Friday night I got Panda Express, and I was just like, man, Panda sucked today. I didn't really think
Oh, so
anything
you weren't
of
even
it.
thinking to your taste buds.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. Okay.
Because, I mean, and a lot of people didn't know this, but, people we worked with did. You didn't have a sense of smell, and you don't have a sense of smell still.
Hyposmia.
Yeah. And I didn't have a sense of smell because of my condition that I was going to have surgery for. So, it made sense to me, I can't smell, so everything tastes a little duller anyways. So, whatever. It was a bad batch of Panda Express is what I bubbled it up to. The next day, same thing, a little bit of a sore throat. Then I went and got Mancino's for dinner.
I got you. No, I'm just trying to screw this thing back in.
I gotcha.
So you got Mancino's.
So I got Mancino's for dinner, and I thought the same thing. I'm like, man, this Mancino's, there's no flavor to this. They didn't add any seasonings in this, right? Just tasted dull. Then I wake up Sunday morning, and I got an email like at 6 a.m., so it would have been 5 a.m. in Chicago time that they sent this email out. Test results came back, tested positive for COVID. And I woke up and I was like, damn it.
You were supposed to have your surgery, though.
I was supposed to have my surgery the next day on Monday.
I got you.
So about 3 or 4 hours later, it was, about 10 o'clock, I get a call from my surgeon. And he's like, hey, just giving you a call to follow up. And I was like, yeah, I think I already know what you're talking about. I got my test results back this morning, and I tested positive. And he said, well, how are you feeling? Because we could still do this surgery if you're feeling all right. And I was like, well, I don't think I have any symptoms. Like, I felt fine. I didn't have the body aches or anything. The only thing that I had was just that small sore throat, which, like I said, was not out of the normal for me. And he's like, well, what do you want to do? And I said, well, let's play it safe. Because he says, I can bring you in. We can have this surgery, but you're going to lose a lot of blood in this surgery. And if you end up getting symptoms in a couple of days, your body's going to be weaker.
Yeah, because you're already...
This is going to really do some damage. And I was like, okay, well, let's just play it safe. Maybe I get no symptoms. Maybe I do.
Yeah.
I was like, let's reschedule for a month out. So we reschedule for December 4th, the day before my birthday. And he's like, okay, cool. So we'll do then. You'll do your pre-COVID test again the Friday before, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm like, okay. I went about my day. On Sunday, I, kind of stayed in my room away from my roommates. Like, hey, I actually do have COVID. So I'm not going to leave my room. I'm just going to stay up here, and I'll just go to the bathroom. The bathroom was right next to my bedroom.
Because you were living at the time, were the kids there too?
Yeah.
So how many other people in the house?
So five other people total.
Yeah.
So my two roommates and their kids. And I didn't want anybody else to get sick.
Yeah, no, I got you.
And I was just like, hey, if I want something, like if I order DoorDash or something, just bring it up, put it outside my room, I'll open the door, I'll grab it, and whatever. So I lived Sunday like it was normal, other than not leaving my room at all to go to anything but the bathroom.
So you lived Sunday like normal?
Yeah. So then Monday, I woke up, and it was like a light switch was flipped in the opposite direction. Monday was completely different. My body had the worst body aches I've ever had. I was coughing like crazy. Because my sinuses were already messed up, I had like a massive sinus migraine. And the thing I always describe to people, and this is probably what you were getting at, was the body aches are indescribable. Like, if you get that, it hurt so bad that I had to turn off the fan in my bedroom.
Yeah,
because the wind blowing on me hurt my skin.
Bad. Jesus.
And that blows. How do you describe that to somebody? Like, imagine someone, but that hurts. That's painful.
Ebola,
right?
The Ebola virus, maybe.
It's crazy, and I couldn't stand to go to the bathroom because on the walk to my bathroom, all of 15 feet to get from my bed to the toilet, all of 15 feet. By the time I got there, I felt like I was going to pass out. And I'm a big guy, I have big guy problems, but I can walk 15 feet, no issue.
Yeah. I wouldn't say you were incapable of walking.
Yeah.
I mean, you work retail, so yeah, you're used to being on your feet.
I'm walking all day.
Yeah.
And
you're not breaking a world record to 40, but you're going to run it.
And even taking a leak, like, your dick hurts taking a piss.
You even like touching it?
Yeah.
You have to go Superman style, just lean over and hope?
You just sit and you just pray that the pain stops. You just sit and pray. You're just like, it hurts to sit. Like, and then your body aches, not only because you have, these body aches, but then your body aches because you're not moving.
Yeah.
Like,
because you can't move.
There was no winning. So the only thing I could really do was sleep. Like, when I was sleeping, I at least wouldn't think of the pain.
Yeah.
But you can't sleep for too long because as soon as you move your body, the pain hits and you wake up. So I was sleeping in maybe 20-minute intervals and then being awake for a couple of minutes and then sleep for 20 more minutes. And the only thing I was doing was I was rotating between laying in my bed and sitting in my computer chair in like 30-minute increments, just so I'm not in the same position for a long period of time. But it was like the worst it's probably like 6 days that I had it, like really bad symptoms.
And I feel like you're kind of downplaying it. Now, isn't there a reason? Like, because you went to the doctor that I thought you said that they pumped you with.
So the week before they had me on my pre-op routine.
Where you're pumping your body with like.
Yeah, so I was taking steroids for the surgery because they would shrink down the polyps to make it easier to go in and cut those out. And so I was taking prednisone, and prednisone they give you for a lot of stuff. I mean, it's in
I've had it before. Teeth, back,
everybody takes
it.
It's terrible for your body, but it does a lot of different things.
Helps kick the shit out.
Yeah, so they actually it's an anti-inflammatory. So if you go in with a sprained ankle or something, a lot of times you get prednisone because it makes swelling go down.
Yeah.
Well, COVID is a respiratory virus where it makes your lungs kind of swell up. So after like my COVID symptoms ended and I talked to my doctor again and he's like, are you good to go with this surgery, next month? And I was like, yeah. He's like, it's probably good that we put you on the prednisone before because it's a respiratory virus, because it like helps keep inflammation down. Like this probably saved your life because with all the health issues you already have and not being able to breathe correctly, like you probably would have died. And I almost wonder that new pill that's coming out from Pfizer, like if that has something like an anti-inflammatory.
I don't know, because it'd be tough because you literally would have to, like the timing was impeccable on that.
It was.
You'd have to have
because I was taking it the 4 days before.
Yeah.
The doctor that I went to in Chicago is considered the best doctor in the United States. He's the one of like 2 doctors in the U.S. that specializes in sinus surgery and cranial repair surgery, because sinus polyps erode away calcium, and they're in your sinuses, and your sinuses are along your brain pan, that thin bone between your brain and your sinuses, right? So mine were so bad and were in there for so long that bone didn't exist in spots.
Damn.
So the local ear, nose, and throat doctor didn't want to do surgery. He just wasn't confident in his skill level with the fact that there were spots where I had no bone. If he broke through accidentally with a tool trying to scrape some of this shit out, I would bleed out on the operating table.
Wow.
So to have a surgeon that is also considered one of the top in his field in the country say, I'm not good enough, this guy's the best, this is who you need to go see, and have that doctor tell you that, hey, because of what we had to do before your surgery, that probably saved your life. I think I trust him on that.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
I trust his words on that.
Now, but because before, again, for people that don't know, I have hyposmia. I was born without the ability to smell. There's nothing stopping it. I really can't remember smelling. But you had something similar but you had like a polyps that were stopping.
So I had allergies when I was a child, and I outgrew them. And a lot of people have that. Mm-hmm. And they say a lot of those people end up developing other allergies later in life. Go see a specialist on that, because I don't want to have happen to them what happened to me. I didn't look at it for so long. It got so bad. I remember finding out about it because it was a Super Bowl Sunday, and I was working at GameStop at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was closing up the shop, and I had a really bad headache. And I had taken ibuprofen many times in my life prior to this. And I had a bottle of ibuprofen at work. I bought it. I had taken it before then at work. Mm-hmm. And I popped like 6 of them. It took like 6 300 milligram ibuprofen or whatever. a bunch of people do that. I take that, think nothing of it. My headache starts to go away. I went home. I started playing World of Warcraft with my friends. And I had a girl that I was talking to online at that point in time. We had met and everything. And we were playing, and she was a nurse. And I was like, hey, I don't feel so good. Like, I felt fine earlier. I don't feel so good now. She's like, what's going on? I was like, I'm having trouble breathing. And she's like, really? Like, did you do anything different? And I'm like, no, I worked. I had a headache. I took some medicine. Like, but that was a couple hours ago. Now, like, I'm wheezing a little bit. Like, I feel like my throat's closing up.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, go to the ER now.
Yeah.
She's like, don't wait. Go now. And I was like, okay, this is a nurse telling me.
Yeah,
so I'm
you
gonna
could be
listen.
allergic to something weird. You never know.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah.
And so I went to the like walk-in clinic. So I went there, and I sat in the waiting room, struggling to breathe. I get back there, and the doctor's like, what's going on? I tell her what's happening. She listens for me. She's like, oh, you have asthma. And I'm like, well, I had asthma as a kid. I haven't had it for a long time. She's like, yeah, you need to get an inhaler. Here, we'll get you this. So I got an inhaler, and she's like, you need to get an appointment at your family doctor. I didn't have a family doctor at the time. So I found one, got an appointment there. And he's like, hey, maybe we need to put you in for allergy testing. Maybe something in the air got you or something. And so I went in, did allergy testing, and they found a couple allergens, no big deal. Well, then I went out, and there was something, my friends and I were partying, basically. That was early 20s, so we were partying, and I drank too much, had a migraine. The next day, I ended up taking, what is it?
Ayahuasca.
No. So whatever it was,
Yeah,
it had aspirin in it, right? And so I take that, and I was at my parents' house, and I went to my parents' house because I didn't have a washer dryer in my unit at my apartment, and at the party, I threw up on myself. Like, I got so drunk, I threw up on myself, and I was like, "Hey, can I come over and like wash my vomit?
Somebody
clothes?
threw up on me, Mom.
Yeah, can I wash my vomit clothes?" And I got the like, you shouldn't be drinking that much if you're throwing up. Like, okay, Mom, Dad, I know. Like, I had
bad Taco Bell.
Right. So I washed my clothes, and I took a couple of these pills, and it was like 2 pills of like these 500 milligrams, and same thing started happening. My throat started swelling up. But I was at my parents, and I'm like, hey, I don't want to tell them this is going on. Like, I don't want them to freak out. So I was like, oh, and we're watching, I'm just going to take a nap.
Yeah.
So I just laid down on the couch. And they're like, when I woke up, they're like, are you feeling all right? You were wheezing really bad. And I was like, yeah, I feel fine now. I didn't think anything of it. So then I went and saw my doctor again. And he's like, so what happened? I told him, like, I took the pills, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, man, that's weird. And it was at that point in time, I had also talked with him about how I wasn't able to smell. And he didn't believe me. And
yeah, I go through that every day.
Right? So nobody believes you if you tell them you can't smell the first thing is smell this. They give you random, smell this. What's this smell like?
Oh, you're right. Yeah,
Nothing.
It took you to put that in front of my face.
Yeah, for me, yeah.
39 years, I've never been able to do it, but thankfully you.
It was the lemons. The lemons cured it. So that was what we struggled with, was random things shoved in our face. Smell this. What does it smell like? It smells like nothing. Everything smells like nothing.
You're lying.
Yeah. So I go to the doctor. He's like, smell this. Throws an alcohol pad in front of my nose. And I was like, I know what an alcohol pad should smell like, but I can't smell anything on that. Wow, you really can't smell. And I was like, yeah, I knew I couldn't when I had a customer come in, and I'm not going to say her real name, in the off chance she happens to be a listener.
That's just always safe to keep names.
So this was a larger woman that would shop at GameStop. She did not bathe. Her body was very misproportioned. She had the biggest boobs I've ever seen. Like, never saw them, but on a person. Like, one literally hung down to her knee.
Oh, good Lord.
But the other one was like 1.5 feet shorter, but still hung down.
She was half National Geographic.
Right? Yeah. Smelled absolutely terrible.
So you had smelled her in the past.
In the past, I had smelled this woman many times, and it was nauseating, right? So she comes in, buys some stuff at GameStop, And all my employees at the time, like,
Just ran to the back.
they were hiding. and then she leaves and they're like, is she gone? And I'm like, yeah, she smelled fine today. I didn't smell anything. They're like, are you serious? We could smell her from up here. And so, I told my doctor that too. And so he ends up telling me, or he ends up like looking up into my nose, trying to see if there's anything in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when the first time anybody saw the polyps. And all the polyp is like your tissue swells up and the blood clots before it can go down. So it like stays in that swollen like bit. So like little sacks of like clotted blood in there, right? And I could breathe fine at that point in time still. So they weren't that bad.
Right.
But he's like, oh, I see some polyps in there. He's like, you might have what's called Samter's triad. And it is like an allergy to NSAIDs. So like aspirin, ibuprofen. So those pain medicines.
Okay. I got you.
And allergy-induced sinus polyps and a loss of smell. So those three combined are this, disease, I guess, or whatever. That's called Samter's triad.
The Samson's Mennonites.
Yeah. So that's what I have. I have Samter's triad. But now I have my sense of smell back because I had that surgery. The polyps were removed for the fourth time, maybe the fourth or fifth surgery. I don't remember how many I've had at this point. But this doctor did a lot better at getting them out. I had so much less pain. Like, you could tell this guy was good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've not had a surgery before where, like, the next day I felt like I can operate normally. Like, it would usually take 2 to 3 days before I got to that level. And the next day I was like, hey, I'm fine now.
I remember the next day you showed, so you're not, like, you're...
You saw me right out of surgery.
Yeah.
I'm like half passed out, and you're like, I'm gonna FaceTime you.
Yeah, because I knew it.
I was like, okay. And then like I'm still groggy from the fucking anesthesia, and you're trying to like FaceTime me, and you were like, holy shit, your nose, you can tell it looks so different.
Dude, it's like it was opened up or something. Like they went in there and just like they put like a drill bit in there and just cleaned everything out. You were like,
yeah.
You were so out of it.
It's oh my god, it was so bad. Like that was probably one of the drowsiest that I've ever been waking up, and it was because my surgery. They said that surgery is normally like an hour. Mine was 2.5.
Jeez.
But he kept going because there was more in there and I wasn't bleeding as bad. So he's like, I want to get as much out as I can. Dr. Conley at Northwestern Medicine.
Boom.
Amazing,
Dr. Conley.
Amazing ear, nose, and throat doctor. Amazing.
All right, so I want to dive into a couple categories that I enjoy talking about, and I love people that have passions for it too. So,
all right.
The first question I have. Out of all of the Star Wars movies, which one's your favorite?
Oh, Return of the Jedi?
Okay, and why?
So, God,
I don't disagree for sure. Good movie.
It's been a while since I've seen it. Return of the Jedi was what, the second one, right? Of the original?
No, Return of the Jedi was the third. Empire Strikes Back was the second one.
Empire Strikes Back was the second, you're right. So Return of the Jedi was... I mean, that was one that ultimately had the big scene with Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker.
Because Return of the Jedi started with him not having a hand.
Oh, you're right.
I believe you are thinking about...
Empire Strikes Back.
I believe we were on the...
Did Empire Strikes Back have the...
Empire Strikes Back
Hoth scene?
Had it all. Hoth with the ATs, right?
Okay,
with the
so
Sasquatch.
it's Empire Strikes
and then
Back.
he meets Yoda, and then he meets... And then
meets Yoga.
He finds Yoga, and he learns. No, Empire Strikes Back, hands down.
So Empire Strikes Back is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
It's definitely Empire then.
Yeah,
it's definitely
down.
Empire.
Yeah.
So it has so many iconic scenes.
Yes. Han and Leia escape the Death Star or whatever, I think. Yeah, so a lot of iconic scenes are in that one. Plus, when they trip the AT Walker is one of my favorite. So, like Star Wars, Marvel, DC, they've all done these TV series.
Yeah.
Okay, where it's roughly about a 45-minute show, call it 30, 45 minute, maybe an hour.
Yeah.
And they do like 6 to 8 episodes. So, what are your thoughts on those series versus like if they were to make a movie of it? And what do you like or dislike?
So between the two, I like going to the movies because it's a single story told on a grander scale. Like, I like watching movies at home too, but if I watch it in the movie theater, I'll usually buy it still.
Yeah.
But only watch it maybe one time at home, right?
It's more of an adventure when you're in the theater like this.
Exactly.
Yeah, something you can't get.
I don't have a 20-foot screen and a 15 to 5 speaker system at home.
Yeah.
I'm not that rich yet. Man Time Entertainment's not that big yet.
You get yourself an Oculus and a couple of subs, you'll be good.
Yeah.
But no, keep going.
Yeah, so I like that experience in the movie theater.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like a single story that's fleshed out a little bit. Unless it's something that's obviously going to have sequels. Like you go see,
Go into it knowing that.
Yeah, you go in knowing this is going to be a continuation. But I really like the TV series, and I say that I still have not watched Hawkeye to this day. Still have not watched it. I don't have anything against it.
It was. I think it was.
Haven't
more
even watched.
I think it was more of a rushed out
attempted.
for a Christmas type thing, which it was cool. It was very more family oriented Christmas. I like it. It was good.
So that's the only one I haven't seen yet. But I really like the TV series because one, I mean, it's got nothing to do with me being at home in that environment or anything, but I feel like they take this idea and they're like, hey, WandaVision, for example.
Great.
Hey, amazing series.
Such a phenomenal
Wanda's
series.
going crazy. She abducted a bunch of people. She's in this town that she created in a big bubble, and they're all being mind controlled by her, except for a couple of people who, are trying to break her out.
Trying to sneak in and get her out. Yeah.
Flesh that out over 6 hours.
It was so good.
And I'm cool with that because it's little bites at a time.
But can we talk a little because you brought up my absolute favorite fucking Marvel
WandaVision's
show.
so good.
The intros on the theme of the year.
Yes.
Dude, when they bounced
was
around,
so
when they
good.
did the Modern Family episode.
Yeah.
Dude, in the 90s theme, when they did like every 90s. Like,
dude, it's
it
like-
was so perfect.
It was amazing.
Every time they did it, I was like, I never watched a lot of 70s or 80s shows, but it was
I
good.
didn't anticipate that after the first episode, that they were going to be jumping.
Yep.
Every episode was going to be a new genre.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool.
It's a good coming-of-age tale, if you will.
Another thing I really like about the Marvel series, and, people will say, oh, it's like trying to be super woke or whatever. I really like how they are trying to pick series that show parts of comics and stuff that you would never see in a movie. Like, coming up, we have Miss Marvel, right? There's another Captain Marvel in the comics. So she just goes by Miss Marvel. It's an Indian girl. And they did that. And now they're doing Ironheart, who was Iron Man's replacement. It was a young black girl who's like the smartest girl in the world. And she basically takes on being Iron Man. Obviously, she's not a man, so she goes by Ironheart. They're basically taking these characters that people say like, oh, they only created this character to cater to black girls.
Right, I got you. Certain demographic.
So, and I don't look at it that way. I look at it as comic book characters exist in everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's a black Spider-Man. There's a black Superman.
There's a pig Spider-Man.
There's a pig. There's literally, that's why there's a multiverse.
Yeah.
There's literally a character of your character.
He's probably one of my faves.
That stuff, it excites me. And I look at it as, we're going to bring new comic fans into the genre.
Right.
Where they might not care about comics at all. But you might see this little girl that sees Ironheart and she's like, hey, she's a little black girl and she's Iron Man. I like that. That could be me. And then they later on come out with other stories. So I just like it as the aspect of, like, this is going to expand upon the genre. When you bring in new people with new ideas, then they create new things that other people wouldn't ever think of. And it keeps it going, Like you said, this isn't like the 60s anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't have that mindset of, like, all superheroes are girls with huge tits and the men are muscle bound, beating people up, wanting to save. Like, that's not the world we're in anymore. So I really like the TV shows because of that too. They're bringing new people into comic like fandom, and the Star Wars stuff is bringing new people into Star Wars.
Yeah.
That ask half these people that are watching the Star Wars shows, and I bet half of them never watched the Star Wars movies before this.
A lot of them.
So it's bringing new people into it that would have never watched a movie, but they see a 45-minute TV show, and that's a lot easier to sit through.
So, did you watch Peacemaker then?
Oh, Peacemaker was amazing.
I
Peacemaker's the best DC thing that they've done. Even better than like Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's the best DC thing they've done of the new DC universe, I will say.
Yeah, I would definitely say. I mean, it's first off. I mean, John Cena really surprised me because honestly, I saw him in a couple things, but he was
Isn't John Cena on episode 10? Isn't he your guest
We
star?
don't do that.
I didn't want to. Oh man,
We don't do that, John.
I didn't want to ruin
Hey, but I will
that.
tell you a fun fact. I have blasted Dane Cook on every social media.
You know, I've
that
tagged
he
him a
has.
couple of times too.
I'm not talking tagging. I'm talking I've found him, got him, bombarded him with every I've worded it every way. I'm like, hey man, I don't care if you call me, if you leave me a voicemail about whatever podcast, I don't care. Just I bombarded him. So if anybody listening, we got
to GoFundMe to get Dane Cook on the show.
I mean, listen, I don't want to have to pay him. I'll just start that.
Dane Cook, I think, would be fun. Looking back at Dane Cook's humor, obviously, it was built for that time, right? It's the same thing about Adam Sandler's CDs. Like, people today are probably not going to find Adam Sandler's CDs hilarious. But man, I still think The Longest Piss is one of the funniest fucking comedic sketches.
There's so much. There's so much that's good. Dude, Toll Booth Willie, and then dude, the goat
tapes.
Dude, the goat. Oh, fuck me in the goat ass. What a great that whole dude. It was so crazy.
They're all
to
gonna
listen
laugh
to that.
at you.
Yes. So much good shit came out of that era that like you can't explain it to people.
You can't. And I think Dane Cook falls in that category.
Oh yeah.
Then.
Dude,
it the way really
he would take he was like almost like a Seinfeld. He would take regular shit of everyday stuff
and make it funny.
Like I still to this day went to Honey or the Night and I go, I like to order something that's never on the menu. So she walks over. I'm like, she's like, okay, what do you want first? I'm like, sake bombs, and I need you to yell at us. So it's me and Feather. We're the lone couple, if you will. I'm always with at least one or two other single dudes randomly. So, so we're like, sake bomb. And I knew right away that if you hit the table too hard, you're going to knock everything over. But Feather's goddamn gorilla arms. So she's like, sake bomb, sake bomb. He goes, sake boom. Just knocks everything over. And I knew it was going to happen. So I'm just over there going, pour my
all the shit so delicately put there.
Oh, dude. So you put the chopsticks there and it rests easily. I'm like, I know first off, I've seen so many YouTube videos of sake bombs gone bad that I knew it was going to happen. And sure enough, everywhere. So like her second one, we had fun, but she came over, she's like, so she looks at me, I go, can I get the number 11? Can I get that without curly fries? She was like looking for number 11 somewhere, like maybe they didn't tell her about the menu upgrade.
You know, it's funny though, because you go to a regular Chinese restaurant.
And there's always numbers.
You
could say number 712, and she's like,
yeah, and they're like, gotcha, all right.
Hunan beef, on the way.
Like, Haniori is just better quality food. Like,
I remember, because it was my birthday, and I ended up having to work. And you know what? Craig Zion. So Craig Zion, a bunch of people, we had planned to go out to Haniori, and I had ended up working. So he was like, "Hey man, we can just bring you." I go, "Yeah, do that." The food's phenomenal. Like it's
so
one
good.
Of those things.
It's just so good. They don't do the lunch, which I mean, COVID.
They might start changing some of that because they all still had to wear masks, and I'm like,
I don't have an opinion. If you don't want to wear one, don't wear one. But like. It never bothered me to wear one. Like, man, it was whatever.
I couldn't figure out the glasses thing, man.
I just didn't wear them. I was just blind.
Yeah,
like, come closer so I can see you.
Yeah, see, there's a level of like, 'cause my thing is like, I'm always like, what if you had to catch something? Like, what if somebody fell and they tossed a baby? Or I don't know why that's my thought process. What if something fell?
If that happened, I would just say, look, I couldn't catch the baby.
You just let it hit you in the chest.
I couldn't fucking see the baby.
It like just pops off your chest.
What do you want me to do? I couldn't see the baby.
Yeah, so I do want, because I know you work there.
You mean the shooting last year?
Or something that happened to you last year, yeah. Remember when you called me and you go, hey, I'm not going to make it because...
Because there's a shooting at the mall.
I go, dude, shut up. Are you all right? I'm like, don't fucking call me. Call the police. What are you doing?
We had already called them.
Yeah, I was like, what are you calling me for, man? I mean, I appreciate it, but...
And I know part of it was like, I was like, hey, just in case you get extra traffic, like the mall's closed because there's a shooting right now. That's what you
said.
There's an active shooter.
I'm like, dude, what are you doing right now? There's no back door in that place.
No, there wasn't.
I'm like, you close the gate and then what do? You hide in the bathroom?
You just put the gun through the gate and you shoot it.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, damn, are you guys all right there? So I started remembering some with me and you, like some of the sarcastic thing. I happen to be a bit sarcastic.
That's your thing.
But sometimes, man,
it was the greatest. You would just stand back and look, and it would be like the fucking Little Rascals thing. You'd be like, oh, Kyle's being real sarcastic.
But that was the type of stuff that was fun. Okay.
Yep.
And I remember you walking into my office and you go, hey, Kyle. You gotta buy GameStop, man. Listen. And like somebody had told you, didn't say anything about, nothing about a short squeeze, nothing about any of that.
This was long before any of that.
Way before that.
This was long before. Like, we're not talking like months. We're talking a year plus before any of this happened.
But when you walked in my office and you told me, is when I think didn't you had just bought more?
When I worked there, so, my district manager would... we wouldn't talk, but, he was a business-minded person. And that district manager is honestly the best district manager I've ever had across any company. Early on, he came from Things Remembered.
Oh my God, Things Remembered.
He was a district manager for Things Remembered.
I own several things that I will never forget because there's engravings on it.
Hey, so he never sold any of it until he quit. And then he always joked, he's like, man, my shares aren't even worth the paper they're printed on, right?
So this was you own this way before, yeah.
So
when we were buying weed stocks.
Yeah, we were buying penny weed stocks.
Yep.
And I bought GameStop. It was down to like $5 or $6 when I bought it. And I was like, look, I honestly think GameStop is undervalued. I was like, I think it's like a $14, $15 stock. If I buy it at this and I sell it at that,
you make triple your money.
Yeah. So that's how I thought. And I threw like 500. I bought 100 shares. It was like $500.
Gotcha.
Right. And I held it and I had it for a while and it stayed around that price point and it never really did anything. And then I had my surgery and I'm like, hey, I got this GameStop. I don't want to have this debt, this medical debt.
Right.
Let me sell my GameStop stock. I'll pay for my surgery. And so this is, remember, fall 2020, right? So this is 2021's when it took off, January 2020. I had my surgery December 2020. So I had 100 shares, $500 worth, that I ended up selling. It was like $16 when I sold it.
So you made money, though, right?
I made a good amount.
Yeah, we talked about this. You made enough money to pay for your surgery that you would not have been able to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's a perk.
So I was like, hey, this is what I thought it was gonna be at. This was like the high end. Let me sell it while it's here. And I actually sold it a little earlier than I should have because it dipped. So I actually sold it. It was at $16, and then I was like, you know what? I should sell it. And I sold it, and it dipped down to like 12.
Yeah, but you bought it. You're talking about you bought it for like 2 or 3, right?
Yeah. It was like 6.
Okay, yeah.
So I basically doubled my money.
Doubling your money,
right?
Which you don't find in stocks ever.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't happen very often. And I sold it, and I was happy with it. I was happy with coming out ahead like that. Then January happens, and it was like middle of January, and people started asking me like, "Hey, do you still have your GameStop stock?" Nope, it's long gone. And then I think you asked me, and you were like, "Hey, I know you bought GameStop, right?" And I was like, "Why?" Like, people keep asking me why. And you were like, "You should probably look that up."
Yeah, I didn't want to tell you. I didn't want to be the guy to tell you, "Hey, man, I know you sold your 100 shares."
And I looked at it and I was like, at that point in time, it was only like 100 and something. That was even before it blew up. Like, and you told me this. And I look it up and I'm like, motherfucker, if I would have waited, like, I didn't have to pay my bill right then.
Yeah, but who would have thought?
Yeah, who would have?
You got a free surgery out of it, which it wouldn't have got to that price if they didn't start.
Exactly.
You just sold when they started to peak.
And it went up and then went down, and I was like, you know what? I don't want to lose more. I got enough in there. I can cover the cost of this surgery. And then, it was like 130 something bucks. And then the next day it was like 200. And then the next day it was like 300. And I had a friend that I also told at this point in time, and this I always tell, he's the only friend that I have that's a true millionaire, right? It's my buddy that makes the board games. But yeah, he messaged me one day. He's like, hey, I took your advice. I bought GameStop at like $11. He's like, when I started seeing it go up, I bought it at $11. He's like, I threw like $2,000 at it. And then he's like, if I make a bunch of money out of this, I'm gonna give you a check for a bunch because you tipped me on this. And he ends up selling it at like 200 and something. So he made a bunch of money. He never tipped me or anything, and I don't expect him to. I'm not like, I'm not that person where I'm gonna be like, hey, remember I told you about the GameStop stock? You made a bunch, but he ended up selling it like $200 or something, and so he got a couple $100,000 out of it.
Oh yeah, I mean if he bought 2,000 at 11, that's.
Yeah,
I don't want to use my Adams math, but that seems like he made $200 per share. So
yeah,
200 times 1,000.
So he made a good amount off of that. This is the record, right? We're at 3 hours.
Dude, so I make my intro.
Yeah,
and I prep people on what they're going to hear. So I'm like, hey, me and my guy John got to talk about some great shit about Star Wars, Marvel. So I prep people. So like in case you don't want to listen,
this is going to be a long episode.
It's one of those things I tell people ahead of time. Like, hey, here's our journey. Here's what was fun. Here's what we're going to get into.
I feel like this one's not coming out Wednesday. The amount of editing you're going to have to do.
Pending mouth pain. No, I put the hours in, man.
Yep.
And then Monday, I spend all of Monday, all of Tuesday, all of Wednesday morning. Like I'm talking, it's like a full-time job. The reason I quit is because I can't handle another micromanaging boss. Like if it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense. And if it's if it's not productive, it's not profitable.
Yeah.
If you can prove me wrong on any two of those statements, I'll stay employed here.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I'm like, I can't do this.
You're creating another problem by fixing this problem. But then you're not fixing that problem. So, it's a vicious cycle.
So it's not productive.
No. Can always.
Any subscription service is always going to need a vendor.
Yes.
Anytime you're signing up for any monthly subscription service, same thing like insurance companies have gone away. If you're paying for the convenience of having a local agent here in town, you're wasting your money.
Yeah.
Because the quicker thing is, like I have Progressive. They go,
do it all right on the phone.
Dude, they go, no, we'll send some cat out there in a minute. I was working at Best Buy, right?
Oh, yeah, they contract it out.
It's like noon. Like by the time I was busy with customers, 1:30, Cat is already done with his assessment. He goes, hey, here's all your pictures. I came out there. I took all the pictures of your shit. Here's where you need to send it. You're all set.
Yeah.
That's the easiest business model. You don't need somebody selling you something. You need an online presence. Right, here's the best deal. We're going to send you people to fix your shit during it. That's a subscription service. No, man, I do want to, one of the last things I want to wrap up is because, you've been a YouTuber for quite a while.
A little over 2 years.
I watch all your videos.
I have 103 subscribers.
Listen, after this, John Mann, Man Time Entertainment. Hey, we'll hopefully get you more.
10,000.
We'll hopefully get you more. Anytime you need me to be featured on a video, I don't need the 10 grand up front, which again, I don't know if you have a check. I don't know when you're getting you said something about your tax return. I'm gonna need that too.
Yeah. I'm just gonna sign it over.
That's fine. Anytime I feature on a video, it's 10 grand. But no. So honestly, what were the pros and cons of once you jumped onto YouTube? What did you find out and what did you not find out? What didn't you know going in that you wish you would have known?
So. Everybody goes into YouTube thinking like, I'm going to create the next viral video and my account's going to blow up. And nobody really realizes like how much you have to put into it. It's every bit as much of this and more when you're editing video, like on top of the audio. But then not even the editing part and not the filming part, the viewership on it. So to get monetized on YouTube, okay? So you have to do this in a 12-month span. You can't do this over like 4 years. It's got to be, I think it's 1,000 subscribers in a 12-month span. And I think 4,000 hours of watch time on your videos in the same 12 months in order to get monetized, and then you get ad revenue on the ads that play on your video.
So how are you going to get there?
I don't know. And that's what I've struggled with in the last, if that were the case, if I
money wasn't an option and you had free time.
Right?
Yeah.
If I could do this full time as the profession and spend the money and do that. So you got to think like somebody that does like food reviews, right? They do like maybe 2 videos a week. And for this video, when I was editing it, right? It's just like when you're editing yours. I rewatched this video maybe 30, 40 times over the course. And this is only me editing for a few hours a day because I'm at work.
I got you.
Right? So I'm only editing a couple hours a day.
I got you.
I rewatch it 30 to 40 times in that, week that we did.
But you're doing the right thing. You got to get in there. You got to put it in, but tell them that it's almost in.
But yeah, that's the solution to fix that. So it's literally just the thing I didn't know was the amount of effort you have to put into it, and then the amount of return you have to see before you can get to even a place to get a couple pennies.
Is your end game? Do you want this channel to be like your main income?
I think,
or is this more of a hobby?
I think this would be more of a hobby thing.
Okay.
Like, if I could make, I have a friend who does YouTube, right? And she gets, I think she has like 15, maybe 20,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Wow.
I mean, it sounds like a lot, but it's really not. Her checks each month, she says like, hey, I do it because the checks I get from YouTube each month are enough to pay my mortgage. And
that's what I'm looking for, Jonathan.
Yeah, it's enough to pay the mortgage, and then her job pays for everything else.
But no, like it's one of those things where like the more people I reach out to, I don't make this channel just for my, I don't know,
listening pleasure.
No, my 74 Facebook friends. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
Most of them do watch it. Yeah, but here's my demographic.
They better.
37 to 44-year-old men are 90% of my demographic. And I understand that. I get that because 90% of my friends on Facebook
are 37 to 44.
Right. So, but I want people to stumble across this and go, you know what? Because again, I'm not here to, I didn't do this to make money. I did not. But I fucking love it so fucking much. This is not me working. This is us having a conversation about Marvel, Star Wars, liquor, and asshole fucking customers and YouTube profits. And I love every fucking minute of it. And I will spend the next 3 days making sure this is perfect. And that's my passion. If I could somehow
make it so it makes money.
Get somebody that has a bunch of viewers to just talk about it and just listen to it. Like I'm not asking anybody to share my shit, which I probably should. Subscribe. Tell your grandparents to subscribe, even if they don't have YouTube.
Like make an account for them and then subscribe to me, please.
Like it's AOL in '96. Sign up. Put your grandparents' card in. You get 120 hours.
It's free. It's free. I promise.
Free to you. If they click on your shit on Spotify for 60 fucking seconds, it counts as a view.
Yeah.
60 seconds.
All you gotta do is make it past that intro.
But no, man, I do want to have you take a minute. We're almost at 4 hours, which I assume we would be. I really did assume we would be. That's why I planned out my aspirin intake I have to take based on my tooth pain.
Every 7 minutes.
Oh, no, that's but it hurts. Every 3 hours I got to take it. I do want you to take a minute and just tell everybody where they can find you, what they can see, and also where they can buy phones from.
So I work at T-Mobile, the pink cell phone company. Magenta. Sorry, Magenta cell phone company.
Damn, you worked there and you said pink.
I'm going to be fired.
Start again.
I work at the Magenta cell phone company.
Nice,
named
Magenta.
T-Mobile. In the University Park Mall. I sell phones and phone accessories. And I make money when I sell phones and phone accessories. So if people want to come buy phones and phone accessories from me,
go see John Mann.
You help pay the bills.
Yeah.
Which also helps fund doing YouTube videos.
Bingo.
That you can find me on Man Time Entertainment. You just search John Mann is the easiest way. Man Time Entertainment is one of my tags. So, yeah, just search John Mann, JONMANN on YouTube. So you want to subscribe to the one with 103 subscribers. Right now, hopefully that goes up.
Yeah, let's get in there.
And then I'm also, every once in a while, I don't do it very often, but I stream on Twitch at My Mom Named Me John.
There you go. Thank you, man, for being here. We're almost on 4 hours.
We need a group. We need another mic.
I know, and here's the problem,
And
man.
we need like 3 people going.
If I add a third mic, I'm adding cameras, man. And here's the problem: is when you don't have a job,
I know.
I've looked into it. It's in my card. It's in my Amazon card. It takes a lot. I need another person. I just don't have right now. I don't have the funds to make that happen.
I know. I gotcha.
And sucks.
You got to survive for at least October. You said.
Yeah. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I've done some things
October.
where I'm selling, flipping. I'm there. But my thing is, man, October's so close to the end of the NFL season. Yep. I might want to rock this out till 2023. Yeah. So listen, I don't expect the outcome to be income, but if we get enough people just sharing it around, any money that comes in, I'll buy cameras.
Create a Facebook business page for the KQ show. And you don't have to pay to, but look at the pay to advertise on it. Support your friends. Listen to it. Put it on in the background while you do something else.
Or just share it. Share it.
Share it to your friends.
You never know how many, because your friends are different than my friends. Yeah. So I shared it to everybody, and you shared it to everybody. So, you got to keep sharing, and I think
sharing is caring.
Support your people. Whatever they have, just support them. And you're one of the key guys. You told me no, I'm ordering from this guy, or I'm buying from this guy because he's a local guy. Support the people that you know, because they have no intention other than being successful.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it took me a minute to learn, because this is brand new to me. Everybody's like, hey man, this is way overdue, Kyle. You should have a podcast. That's easy to say, but I don't know. I never plan any jokes or conversations with people. I just love hearing.
None of this was scripted, other than the couple of things you wanted to ask me.
I skipped the first 90% of shit that I even wrote down, because that's what I want. I want genuine conversation. That's all I want. I hope everybody listening had a great journey. I hope you understand to go see John Mann, Man Time Entertainment on YouTube, and go see him at University Park Mall. Before we leave, I like to end with a serious quote. Listen, you got to remember, folks, you can only walk so far in someone else's shoes when they fit wrong. Thank you again for tuning in to the KQ show. I hope you liked that last step. Thanks, everybody. John, man, your mic's messing up a little bit. Can you give me a high pitch? There it is. Thank you again for tuning in to the KQ show. Thank you.
I love you. Bye.